Well, welcome to part 2 of the SL HF2100. Um, Now, I'm doing some tests, voltage tests, and I'm also testing out these caps here. I've got my meter out. These caps, some of these capacitors are tested bad, so it could be that we just change these 4 caps, and that might give us our playback back. So we might be able to get this thing to play a tape. So the owner of this thing, I think that he got it from a thrift store. He said he paid $50 for it, which I think that's an amazing price for a 2100, because I mean these things are awesome. These have the they're a really cool machine. They really are. You know, and they've got S-video connection. I mean, you can actually, yeah, this has got S-video, which is kind of weird because it's not like it's an ED beta. It's just a regular beta, but it's got S-video. And I think this thing will probably, when it's working, when we get this thing fixed, I bet you this thing is going to have a really good picture. Especially if you're using S-video. But that's providing that you have a tube TV that has the S-video. But anyway, yeah, so I'm doing testing and stuff, and I'm finding out that yeah, there's caps here that are bad. I'm gonna pull this off and see what we can do with it, because I know it's going to need a full service on the real table motor side. And I'm really wondering as to why the brake is not being released. Obviously, the machine electronically is working as far as ejecting and stuff. When I pull the brake back by hand, it'll eject the tape and no problem. We at least, you know, all that time we spent on the tape threading, and it did pay off because we did get that part fixed, but we got a brake that is not releasing. But that bent guide, they had that bent guide, and that bent guide got lodged underneath the steel plate. You know, it's just a cover, but it got bent, and so it was causing it to jam, so it wouldn't unthread. So we got the threading and unthreading working. If I manually do the brakes on it by hand, it'll do it. But there's nothing electronically wrong, so that's good. Yeah, this is oh, here's the circuitry for the Foley race head. Yeah, well, this has got flying erase heads too, so it's got the circuitry for that. Looks like the RF is also on this board here. That's cool. Neat. So we're going to pull the caps out of this. These are 16 volt. Originally they're 16s. I'm going to put 25s in, because that's what I have is 25. And going from 16 to 25 is not a big deal. You can go up a little bit on the voltage, it's no big deal. So we'll put some 25s in here. These are 16 at 47. I'm going to put 25 volt at 47. we're going to put those because we just checked it. And I'm also going to do an ESR test on them too, but pretty sure that, you know, if the multimeter is saying to replace them, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to replace them anyway. So I don't even need to do an ESR testing because I'm just going to go ahead and replace them. Because I do know that those do go bad. Yeah, so we've got this out. And I honestly, the tensioner's okay. I thought maybe the tensioner band might be a little tight, and that's probably why, but no, that arm is, oh, well, he has been messing with it because there's a little mark there. He's marked it so that he puts it back in the right place. Actually, that tensioner is just a hair under tension. It needs to be tensioned up a little bit more than that. So we'll make the adjustments, but we'll take the so we're gonna take the reels off here and do some oiling. So I'm gonna do that. So we'll do a service here on the reel table motor, and we'll get this back up and serviced. But we'll get this taken care of. But I think it was the just the lubrication has dried up, and that's why it was stuck. I don't know if he's had this out, but it looks like he may have, or somebody has. Maybe a shop or something, I don't know. I don't know if he's took the reel table motor out or not. He probably hasn't, because those look like factory screws. Because typically the green screws for the reel table motor, and then for like power supplies, usually red screws. So yeah. So we got a ways to go on this one, but we spent, like, I spent 3-4 hours on this now, just getting this far. I mean, I'm not going to be charging them all of the hours that I put into this, but he is going to be charged probably at least, I'm going to charge him at least 4 hours labor on this. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm gonna try to keep the price down, and, you know, yeah, so. Well, let's get the reel table motor serviced and get that done. So I'm gonna do some oiling. I'm gonna clean off the old lubricant and re-lube it. We're gonna do a servicing here on the reel table motor. I'm gonna change these caps and as well, and that way we'll get this done and we'll put it back together, and then we won't have to take this back apart unless it ends up being the Hall effect device. Yeah, so I got the reels off, and we've got those clean, the posts are clean. I just shot some cleaner on those sensors. We're going to pull this pendulum gear off. But, ooh. Oh wow, that's a little stiff. That is a little stiff. Now, I'm going to check this gear too, because sometimes these idler gears have a tendency to crack, and they'll split when they're in rotation. They'll split, and then they won't make contact, and then all hell breaks loose, right? So gotta pull this along. Okay, so we'll pull that off. So we'll clean the post on this as well, and then we'll put it back on, because I think it was pretty tight, and I'm really thinking that the lubrication is dried up, and so that was kind of tight as well. When these things just sit and do nothing, it's bad for them. So you should always, you know, use your VCR at least once a month. You know, a couple times a month, you know, or, you know, maybe a little sooner than that. You know, me, I mean, I use mine at least once a week, or once every couple weeks, just to keep the, you know, and I keep it plugged in to keep the caps warm. And to keep the seals from breaking on the caps, because they sit unplugged for a long period of time, and then sometimes you plug them in, and then the seals break on the caps, and then all the liquid comes out, and all the electrolytic comes out, and that's all she wrote. It's a good idea. It's a very good idea to clean the silver shiny surfaces on the reels. So we're going to put this one back on, and we'll get this one back together. We'll change the caps as well. There we go. And we'll change these caps. Okay, so I've got caps in. Yeah, I know this cap kind of dropped a little bit. It's a little high, but it's not gonna, I don't think, well, I may need to, no, I think I'm gonna have to adjust this cap. I'm gonna need to push this cap down further, because I think it's sticking up just a little too high. So we'll do that. But anyway, we got 4 new caps in. The trace was damaged on this one because the cap was leaking. Some of them were leaking, so it's a good thing I changed them. But these are just low profile caps, and they're Nichicon, it looks like, is what they were. But anyway, yeah, they're 16 at 47. I put 25 in. Yeah, so I've got the reel table motor back off. I put it in, and then I took it back out. This capacitor, I mean capstan, there's 3 surface mounted caps. Now these caps have a tendency to fail. These caps may be the reasoning for the motor not working, although look at here, it's burnt. You see that burning? So this IC is cooked. What caused the IC to get cooked like that? Well, it's probably too late for me to save this capstan motor, because I think what happened, because these caps went completely open, there was no way to regulate the voltage that was going to the machine, to the capstan motor, and because of that, the IC got hot and it was cooked. So the only way is to get another capstan motor, which at this point in time I don't have. Well guys, I replaced the capacitors. for the capstan motor, but it's not, it probably isn't going to work anymore. Still probably won't work, and I'll tell you why. So if we take a look at the IC, there's actually some burning that's happened. The IC right here by my finger, there's burning. There's some burning that happened. So what I think has happened is because the capacitors went completely open due to the electrolytic, the stuff that's inside the caps, the electrolytic stuff. So that leaked out. Well, that basically the capacitors stopped working, right? Okay. So because the caps have stopped working, there was no way to regulate the voltage going to the IC, and so it caused too much voltage getting to the IC, and of course the IC got really hot and burned out. Let's get a cassette inside here. Another thing I noticed is that the tape guide is not fully engaging, and that might be, and what that'll do is that'll actually mess up the alignment, but it should still, that capstan should still turn on. So we'll just now, this capstan's not going to work because usually, well, sometimes, well, no, that's only if the leader is at the very beginning, but sometimes the tape will forward just a few seconds if the leader is exposed, but the leader is not exposed. So, okay, play. Okay, as you can see, there's nothing happening with the capstan. If we hit play again, yeah, nothing. So I'm gonna eject it, and we're gonna change the capstan motor, and we're gonna see if we can get this thing to play. So I have a capstan motor that came out of an HF2100, and there's a difference there because, see, the 360 is the 711B31, where it used the capstan motor to drive the take-up and supply wheels. This is actually the 711B32 chassis, and that is because they went back to the old style real table motor, where they had a direct drive motor and had a pendulum gear that would go back and forth between the two spools. But anyway, the difference between the capstan motor that came out is it's the same capstan motor, but the mounting plate, there's no the mounting plate is different. This one actually has screws and springs that go into it to hold it in place. On the 360, the only thing that holds it in place is the three screws for the capstan bearing shaft. But if we pull this out, you'll see that there is no mounting. The mounting plate is flat. Now, I put this in here just to show you guys that my theory is correct about the capstan not working. So we're gonna show you that here. So let's get a tape loaded. I'm gonna have to hold the capstan motor in place while I load this. But I wanted to show you the differences there. And so we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and we'll hook this up. Okay, so hitting play, and now it's working. And now it's playing. So this is just to show you that I was right in the fact that the capstan motor was not working. And the reason why the capstan motor wasn't working is because of the IC that has burned out. There's a lot of burning that's happened, but it's not only the IC, but also the pickup coil here is messed up as well. There's a lot of burning there. So this motor has gotten a lot of voltage went through the motor and basically burned it up. There's no control track. The control track isn't working because there's no tape in this cassette. But it is actually playing, and you can hear the reel that's turning, but it is engaging in play. And you can see that. So anyway, we have something that now will play back tapes. Anyway, so we've established as to what's going on with the playback, with it not being able to play a tape. The next thing is to tackle the problem with the threading loading ring. So the loading ring actually still has a problem, and you can see that it's not, see how it's not fully engaged? You see there's still some, see that guide should go up about another ½ an inch, and it's not fully engaged. If the loading ring is not fully engaged, the cam is not going to be at the right spot to release the brake so that the loading ring can unload. Because we try to hit eject and it doesn't do anything because the cam is not quite in the right spot to release the brake. But if I take the if I release the brake manually, then I can get it to eject. So we'll hit eject, and I'll do it at the right spot. Okay, so that's what's going on. The cam is not in the right place. But as to why it's not threading all the way, I don't quite know yet. I have to investigate that. But just the fact that we know why it won't play a tape, well, yeah. So we can change the capstan motor out, and it'll play. Okay, so we know why it won't play tapes. We got it to rewind and fast forward okay just by doing a real table motor servicing. So we got that going, and we got it to where now it'll play.